But no, overall, it's been pretty supportive. Obviously, the fact that they already had a person specifically to do social media is already something that
Like
a lot of
heavy
people.
lifting's been done there, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
They even had. They also have like a whole like ministry that is specifically people that are a part of a group that when they see a post, they are kind of obligated to go in and like it and share it and, kind of engage with it. And so, even that, getting to kind of take over and just promote that and kind of let them know, hey, here are the changes you're going to be seeing, but continue to do this. And there's been support all around, so it's been good overall. Yeah.
Anybody got any questions for Connor? Don, how to song?
I'm gonna connect to this real quick.
I like it.
Just because it'll be more fun that way. All right. Let's see. Okay, so this is just a really fun one. We always have a need for like a portable sound setup for events and stuff. And that picture on the right is from Matt's son's wedding, but it's just to show you kind of what we're dealing with here. So on that left side, you see that rolling road case, and it literally has everything that you can need. It's got wireless units packed into it. It's got a mixer that's actually on the back end. That's just a control surface up top. So what I can do is I can lock down things. So if it's sitting in the fellowship hall, which is where it lives 90% of the time, it doesn't get touched. So it's really nice. And then it's got everything that you can need. It's got microphones ready to go. It's got like a 3.5 millimeter jack so you can plug up a phone to it. I've got a Bluetooth receiver inside. Just it's a one and gun ready to go for any event. Because we always have like a need for a PA system at an event and spread out across the campus, especially like with trunk or treat and things like that. We always need just little things in little places. But one of my favorite things that is in that rack is actually a wireless in-ear system that we're using as transmission to avoid having to run cables across walkways. So this can act as a central hub, and then I can have little battery powered speakers with just one of those wireless in-ear units and just plug it up to that, and it can sit anywhere around the facility, and it's just transmitting in real time. So you don't have to worry about any delay. You don't have to worry about any craziness with it. And nobody's tripping on cables. You're not having to run cables through doorways.
Just amplifying an inner ear system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, literally, instead of plugging in-ear monitors to it, you're just taking a 3.5 millimeter out and running it straight in. So like one of those, the JBL Eon 1 compacts that's battery powered, or you can hook it up to like this system on the right. That's a much beefier system, but I can put that in a different place. So I can like put that out in our pavilion and have the main rack in the fellowship hall. So you have the same thing going to both places, but don't have cables going through the main walkway to get you from the fellowship hall to the pavilion. So just really nice stuff with that. It's been really fun. We also, we do an event for our kids. It's based off of Chisel, which I did growing up at Mount Juliet, where you go and learn about all different ways that people use their talents to serve God. So we started one this year and we called it Steward's Trip. And it's for both guys and girls. That was the difference between the way I had it growing up. But we wanted something to give the kids as a reminder, and then to give each of the people that we stopped along the way to see. So we made these challenge coins. And these, it's actually, they're blanks from Amazon. Because I looked into like doing like legitimate challenge coins, and they're pricey. I don't know if you've ever done that before, but very pricey. So what I did was did a sticker design that just has the same texture as the coin itself and made it three-dimensional, and just it's literally just a flat sticker on top of it.
How did you do this? What did you do the sticker with?
Just a vinyl sticker.
You just made like, who printed those? Just a local company?
Yeah, we've got a local print shop. And so you literally just do them and I mean, you could honestly do it on a Cricut and just have them cut straight to the edge. So you need a little bit of bleed on the sticker, but it made it look just like it's printed onto the coin, and that there's actually some definition to it. So that was a really cool thing that we like to do. And we liked them so much, we're probably going to use them for some other things as well, probably with like some of our deacon stuff. And we're just really excited about it. So those were fun to do. We have learned not to take ourselves very seriously. This was to promote one of our events that we did. Once we moved to 2 services, we really had to push for our 5th Sundays to be a big deal, to try to bring everybody together on a Sunday night. And then also we make a couple of them a year an outreach event. Last year we did this one and it flew, so we did it again, and it's called the 5th Sunday Roundup, and we literally charge our congregation to round them up and bring them in. And we make it a whole cowboy themed night. We have barbecue and baked beans, but this is how we promoted it. We literally found a guy in Lebanon, just right down the road from us, that had a farm, and we went out there and just put Matt and Wayne on horses. And this got so much traction, not only within our people, but also the community. They're like, hey, were you that preacher that was riding on a horse the other day? It's like, yes, it was. And then we got to have a little bit of fun. You'll see in a second our youth minister comes riding in on a stick horse. Because of course you gotta, but that was one of the things. I love this line. All in favor of joining us, say aye. All opposed, say nay. And then Wayne looks at the horse. Don't you dare say a thing. Get it? Say nay. But one of the things we've learned from that, and like Lee knows this good and well, you don't have to take yourself super seriously to have an online presence.
I take myself very seriously.
Sure, put your shoes back on, bud.
Never.
But when you can show people that you're real online, it makes them a lot more willing to show up. And we've learned that through this event, through some other stuff. And these community events that we've been doing on 5th Sundays have really worked great. Another one that we did this year, and please feel free to steal it. I know Lee actually is planning on stealing this year. March Gladness. We did this event, and it was just, we were encouraging people to pass the joy. So we made little baseball shaped cards, and people could go and hand them out.
Hey, it's basketball.
That's what I said, right? Yeah, sorry. It's a long week.
Sports ball.
Sports ball. We made sports ball shaped cards. And so we also had these little handouts to give to people. But you see, we had this bracket. And what we did was over the month within the congregation, and also we did it online too, so people could vote if they sent it to their friends or whatnot. We broke down songs and got it down to the Elite 8. And then that night that we were there, those songs that people voted for as their favorite songs were what we sung that night. So people had some tie-in, some investment to the event themselves. And then we had this nice big basketball. Is that how you say it? Basketball. We had this big fabric backdrop that was a nice photo op for people. It really, like, it had basketball texture to it and all that. So it looked like it was rolling down the hallway. It was really neat. People loved it, and they were able to share that with their friends, be excited about it. We set this up in the hallway like for the entire month leading up to it. And this is right outside the doors of our worship center. So people are seeing this constantly. I made on that right side screen, it's this almost like ESPN style motion graphic of the ball coming and flying in and going through the arena. So it had some eye-catching nature to it, and people just loved it. And it really got people excited for the event, got them to invite their friends. I don't know how many people showed up that night, because they literally said we stopped counting at one point because they couldn't keep up. So we had chairs in the hallways. Yeah. It was a great night. But those fabric backdrops are another thing, and me and Blaine are obsessed with these things. The ones up on the top two left images and the bottom right, those are all just square tube backdrops. We have them in all different designs for different things. We've got one for each of our sub-ministries. So there's a ladies one, a men's one, a kids one, a youth one. We've got one for our preschool, and then there's some generic ones as well. They're great to like take to events. If we're setting up at a community booth somewhere, we can do that. But then the ones on the bottom left, those big wide ones, that's our main entrance. So that's the first thing you see when you walk in the door, and that's our mission statement there, that passion for Jesus, compassion for others. That's what people see when they walk straight in. So when they know what you're about as soon as you walk in, and then that's the last 2 years of iteration of it. So we get to refresh it every now and then, give it some update, and then in the top right you see we do one on either side of the stage, and it's our sermon series that are currently going on. So the left side's our Sunday morning, the right side's Sunday night.
Arson, do y'all have a frame to put those around, or do they come with, are they just fabric?
So the ones that are like movable, the ones like with all the sub brands, those are like a movable frame. The other ones, like the ones in the main hall and then the sermon series ones, those actually have a wall mounted frame, and it just snaps in. It literally, it's SEG fabrics is what they're called. They take a silicone bead and they sew it down the edge of it, and then there's like a little groove that it just snaps into. So you can replace them in like 3 minutes.
What company do you go through with that? Is that another local company, or?
I order them. We have a member that owns a signage shop, and she's got a wholesale supplier that we get those through.
Just thinking about
So
it.
what's the name of that sign shop?
It's
Fixing to give her some business.
Sign Center.
Sign Central. Sign Central. I think it's signcentraltn.com. But I can get you in touch with her.
You
Just-
should use them, but like those types of things, like any print shop can get stuff
Yeah.
like that. They're killer.
I've
Yeah.
seen the
Radiant
ones that-
does those,
Yeah, I've seen
but-
them too, Vistaprint.
Teresa can get them
Radiance.
at way better rates.
I want the one that Brady Shearer plugged with the lights behind it.
They
They
have
do
those.
those too.
Yeah.
They have
Yeah.
those too.
So Mount Juliet's going to donate one to Warren Springs Road Church of Christ.
Yeah, talk to him about it. I ain't at Mount Juliet, so go for it.
No,
Yeah.
those things are awesome. The one
Yeah.
he shared though with the backlit,
Oh, they're great.
they're awesome.
How do
They're
they-
really
How do
great.
they mount exactly? Like, I see the one you got down here on the bottom left is on drywall.
Yeah,
Every part of our building is brick.
Okay.
How would we mount?
easy.
Yeah.
So they literally just have these wall studs, and it's literally like an inch by inch, like metal piece, and it just screws in. So you would just use a masonry bit and screw in, and then it's just compression. So there's a metal frame that goes around, and it just tightens
And then
down
the,
and
and
outwards.
the bead on the back of the print clips into that frame. There's like a strip around it. And you just like
Yeah.
So you've got like this little
Has a track.
wire
Yeah.
frame almost kind of
That's
thing
a
on the
word.
wall.
Yeah.
Just metal,
It's like a little
flat
track.
metal.
Yeah.
Has a
Mhm.
track in there that you
Metal
And you just
square
stretch those jokers right
stretched
over.
over and clip it in.
check out
Yep.
Brady Shearer's.
Yeah, they're phenomenal, and it's great because you can make a big statement piece like this,
Yeah.
and it can change out easily. So I think that main graphic in the entryway, I think it costs us now. To be fair, we're paying wholesale prices because we have a hookup. I think it costs us $120
Yeah.
to change that out.
And then you can.
That's,
And
how
that-
much, that's how much I'm paying now.
What Shearer,
Right.
what Shearer did is he put an LED strip inside it, so you can backlight it, so you can change the,
Like one of those
the look
LED
of it,
strips
or
or
it
something?
becomes a.
If you
well,
fly-
they have ones
I mean,
that are
they make them
specifically
Is it,
for
does it
that.
illuminate the outside or the inside? I'm having a hard time
It
visualizing.
it backlights through the fabric, so that the fabric looks like it's a lit signage.
Yeah.
if you fly through B&A right now, just keep your
Yeah.
eyes open. All the walls in B&A have those same.
But
Yeah.
the one Shearer
They're
did, I think that was homemade. But like if you buy one,
No, it was a stock one.
But if you buy one, I mean his is 40 feet long or some
Mhm.
ridiculous
Custom size, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean it was thousands of dollars. But you can take
But we're-
those.
If you
and
ever
buy
go to a
those.
trade show, this is what you see
Right.
everywhere
That's what
around.
I'm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
It's
wondering.
exactly
It's
what
kind of
these are.
So these
replaced
are
the
like normal-
standoffs like those.
Yes.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
these are like normal, like what, 8 foot by 4 foot or something?
I don't remember what the sizing. This one was a specific sizing.
You could do
So-
The new bulletin board.
custom, so
Yeah.
you just choose your size.
This is the bulletin board of the 21st century.
Yeah, they're great.
I will
And the
download
best
my
part about it
stuff.
is it's not a bulletin board, so people can't put random stuff onto
Trying
it.
to get like a history.
I love that part of it.
And it's just missions and stuff.
So yeah, those are fabric displays. I'm a big fan of them. That's just a little thing. One of the things that we've really found, and this one I'm really excited about. It's not as much of a tech thing, but it has a big tech aspect to it. And that is, we have created a mobile barista cart. And this thing is literally one of my favorite things on the face of the planet.
Bingo. We got one too.
Oh yeah, well, so what we do with this is we use it specifically for outreach. So we take it into schools and we go serve the teachers coffee, iced lemonades, and like seltzers. And what we're doing, you see the menu over there? Each menu for the school is customized to the school. So the drinks change based on it to show like, hey, we care about you. We wanted to do something specific for you. And we go in and we just go from door to door. We roll down the hallway and we're serving these teachers. And it's amazing the impact that it's having. And what's cool about it is as we give them these drinks, these were two of the drinks we had. One was for the Hawks. It was a green drink because that was their school colors. And the other one was for Good Pasture. It was blue. But what was really neat about it is we're handing teachers a cup at their door saying, hey, we care about you. We appreciate what you do. And it's got our information on it. And what we've seen from this is they're then going out and they're posting about this on their personal pages. They're sharing with their friends, hey, we're so glad that the 109 Church of Christ came out and gave this to us today. Can you believe what just happened? We have schools that we have gone to already that are calling us. They want us back like tomorrow. They cannot stop talking about the fact that this church came and did this for them. And they're posting about it. They're sharing it with their friends. So we're not even putting marketing dollars into this other than $100 worth of coffee. And then they're doing the work for us and sharing it with their friends. And it's amazing the response that we've gotten from it. Because it's a twofold thing, right? Because it shows that we care about them because we want to do that, because we care about the people that are in our community invested. But then they're sharing with their friends how awesome it is that we're out here being invested in their lives. So now their friends are seeing it and there's validation already there. It's not like a paid post from us. Now, don't get me wrong, I do love a good paid boosted post, but if Blaine knows somebody and he shares something, it's a whole lot better than if I have a brand account that they see something. And that has gotten us tremendous response from the community because of that. And it's relatively inexpensive. I mean, literally, those carts are from Harbor Freight.
I was about to say they're $150 a piece.
Yeah. I think for the entire setup, we spent $500 to buy all the carafes, the coolers, I mean, everything that's in part of it.
Harskin, who does all of y'all? Do you do all the design, like the thanks for all you do, this coffee is for you? Do you do all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, so, and I do the menu design and all that, so I just have,
And you just do that in like, what, InDesign or Photoshop or
so
Canva?
I made all the drink styles in Illustrator, and then I brought them into Canva to change the colors out based on the schools, just because it's easier to do it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, very easy to go from one school to another. We just take their mascot, their school colors, whatever, pick flavors based on that. So like, we've got a school coming up in a couple weeks. I say a couple weeks, that's next week. I've got to get their menu done. But we're going to a school next week and they have red in their colors. So we'll have like a strawberry flavored drink and things will change based on where we're going. And just that little bit of extra care, like, because what we'll do is also like send out an email the day before. And it's really cool because how often are you able to call a school and say, hey, can I email all of your teachers from my church account? And like the answer's always going to be no, but when you say, hey, we're coming in and giving everybody free coffee, we just want to send out an email to let them know what we're going to have available so they can prepare and have in mind what they want to order when we come to their door.
How do you get that relationship started? Did you just, I know obviously there's probably a lot of steps in that, but
Honestly,
Worshiping their building for
we
years.
have some relationships at other schools, but some of them it's literally just like we call the office and say, hey, we would love to do this for you. And they're like, are you for real? And we're like, yeah. And then it's such an easy sell for, hey guys, we want to send this menu out. And I've got a preset thing of like, hey, here's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be going door to door. Really wrote that out where it speaks to educators and people who are in the administration side of that, answers all the questions they need, haven't had any pushback
But as long
yet.
as you're coming at it from the viewpoint of, we just want to give back to the teachers.
Exactly.
The administration's going to go for it 100,
Because it looks good for
that's
them
money
too.
that they don't have to spend to support their teaching
Yeah.
staff.
It helps them because they want people to see that they care about their staff.
Yeah.
Because they do. They just don't have the money to do anything for them.
So if you offer it,
Yeah.
I would doubt that there's ever been a church, school that was like, no, please don't come.
Right. Hey, we don't want you. We're not seeing any of that. And it may
they
come
say that,
up.
and they don't understand what you're trying to do.
Yeah, then you might not have
You're not
communicated it
communicating,
correctly.
Right. The communication is very clear and plain of we literally just want to come in and show some love to the teachers. And like, it's helpful because all of us at 109 are involved very closely with educators because my mom has taught her entire life. Matt's wife teaches. Wayne's daughter teaches. And Patrick's wife is in the school system. She's a counselor. So all of these things, we can come at it and say, guys, we get what it's like to be in this world. We know the trouble that y'all go through. We know that y'all are underappreciated. We just want to share some love with you. They love it. Take full advantage of it. And it's beneficial for the community, but from a marketing standpoint, it goes worlds. And it's cheap. Really
Did
cheap.
you have anything else on that? Not rushing you. Just
No.
You want to take a short bathroom break? Thanks
Yes.
for being here and joining us. All right, B Lane.
All right, so I'm gonna briefly go through a couple of these show and tell things that Jason had mentioned. Mentioned for me to bring, but I honestly, am I allowed to ask a question? You said we could do a question, right?
No, we
I'm wrestling with a
used your
few.
question for them.
Oh, I already did, didn't I? I'm wrestling with some things I'd love some input from people on. But anyway, one of the things Jason really had mentioned that he wanted to see was what we call our ministry catalog. You can look at it. You've already seen this, but or you can go to our website and just mountjuliet.org/serve. But as we consider, as we look at like digital media and things like that, a lot of times like there's just something really special about holding something physical in your hand sometimes. But that doesn't mean that it's not integrated digitally. And so for us, like part of our like onboarding process for new members is like to help them with involvement and things like that. But also in a congregation of our size, like some of the organization kind of becomes a little chaotic if you're not really intentional about it. I would say it's still very chaotic, but we're trying to do our best. But like, so we really value the ability for people like understand what certain ministries are, especially when they want to name them crazy things that doesn't really help new visitors or anything like that understand what it is, but I digress. So Jason has built something that looks really great as well, recently involved with their ministries, but if you guys want to take that, you can. If you want to throw it away, you can as well. All good there. Recently, something else that we did that was really great for us with podcasts, as actually was last Sunday night. We actually did a podcast, quote, live for our PM sermon. So we actually did the podcast setup fully with like the headphones on and everything at the table on Sunday night. And so like they were the sermon that night. And so we found that really helpful to increase like awareness like in our congregation and stuff. And so that was just something that was really beneficial. We keep finding over and over that people just aren't aware of something. Derek McBroom, after we finished, he's like, what on earth is a podcast? Like, he's like, what is this? Like, he was just so confused.
AM radio
So,
today.
yeah. So, like, there is
That's
an
how I describe it to old
educational
people. They like it.
element, I think, with stuff like that. And so,
Do it.
I think that's just always really helpful. I mentioned earlier today, like, our grow, love, and serve thing, like, it's connected to what we call our pathway of discipleship in Mount Juliet. I just have 3 of these copies, but our elders walk through this with new members, and it's part of our MJ 101 class, which is like a class. It's not like, excuse me.
It's like college bound for MJ members.
I guess it's not like a requirement for membership or anything like that. But it's a class that Brian LeMasters leads just to help new people understand kind of what the church is about. And we kind of also walk them through what we call our pathway here. And it's really what our elders have set up to say, hey, we really believe, like, to be an effective, faithful disciple, here's some things that we think y'all really ought to be about. And so really try to do, if you take that book by itself, it feels very like checklisty almost, but and the way we talk about it and stuff in the congregation, that's not necessarily how we kind of promote it, but we had to have kind of a handout that's helpful. Something else that we've really been intentional about, like kind of similar maybe to kind of what Connor does with some of their, we call them bridge events, but like some major children's events and things like that throughout the year, other outreach events. We always boost an ad on Facebook for those events. I don't care at all about posting about attending events on our social media for things that are not outreach oriented. In fact, I don't really think you should be doing that, to be honest. I'm really wanting people to see what the church life can be about. We had a church picnic a few weeks ago. It was outreach oriented. And so we did do an ad for that. But not only that, we always try to equip our church with feeling like they have, and we're very clear and intentional about where we place outreach events throughout the year. We always, like, at least once a quarter, like, if you use Fifth Sundays, you're going to do it pretty accurately. Like, that's a great strategy that 109's doing. But we always try to equip our people. So, like, I've just gotten to the point where, like, anything that's outreach oriented, we use, you guys probably are familiar with, like, Avery, like the like label making company. You know, you can buy those labels. Well, they can do postcards too. And so, like, we always, so here's our fall festival and Veterans Day breakfast that's coming up. We always equip our church with, if it's an outreach event, they have something they could physically go and take to people, to their neighbors, to their coworkers, whatever. Of course, we encourage them to share on Facebook, send people the links, things like that. But we really love the idea of a physical thing that they can take. And depending on the event, like Fall Festival, for example, there's probably at least 100 of those cards that were taken. So, like, not just a crazy amount. And honestly, most of our audience is going to come from reaching out to our preschool, which if you're not using networks like that connections you already have within your church, you should be for outreach. And then also using attendees from past events, as Connor was kind of getting at, Planning Center allows us to do a good job targeting those people. We actually will do mailers a few times a year, but only to people who have attended an event within the past year. So we're not saying, hey, we're sending a mailer to 37122. We're saying, no, I'm going to send 700 of these rather than 3,000. I'm only going to send it to people who've attended something in the past because I know they have a much higher likelihood of attending again. So that's something that we've done. And then my last little bit of show and tell, for if I'm allowed to use more time, is just every company, like, it's almost annoying right now, is pushing NFC tags. You guys probably, if you don't already have some of your church, have probably heard people like starting to, that was awful, sorry, King, are probably like starting to ask, hey, why don't we have this? And I really encourage you to do what we talked a little about in our first session is, does something help you? Oh, nice. Does something help you with your mission or not? Or is it just a cool fad? NFC tags, like QR codes, like, we're pretty much on their way out. COVID helped give them a boost. NFC is so interesting to try to explain to some people what it is, how it works. It's like blows their mind when they scan it for the first time. But we think that it's been really beneficial for us. We've had them for about a month and a half, and honestly, I really didn't do a great launch with them, but I can tell you for sure that we're having more guests fill out Connect cards because of them. And the reason I can know that is because they're actually filling them out online, so like not just in person. Part of this is just a general thing. I don't want to say it's a frustration, but if you're like me, you're probably not up in front of the church all the time, and so you need to really communicate with those who are when they're communicating things like this. And so like I think I finally, and I kind of joke with him, but I think I finally got Craig down to like announcing it like effectively, hey, no, this is what this is what we want you to do with it, like.
This can be a venting session if it needs to be.
No, it's all good. He does a good job with it.
It's recorded though.
It just took like some getting used to of like, hey, this is how we're gonna say this now, and the same with like our guy who does announcements on Sunday nights. Like, hey, like no, you can't say it that way because that's not actually an accurate representation of what's happening. You know, like you're not clicking on events necessarily. You're tapping or scanning or whatever. But when you tap or scan that, all it does is pull up our Nucleus launcher on our website. It's the gold windows in the bottom right, but you can link those to anything. If you choose to do NFC tags, please do yourself a favor and do not fix the tag. So mine's mountjuliet.org/NFC, but I could forward that URL to whatever I wanted. I don't have to go and like change the tag. So please do that for yourself if you choose to go down that road. In fact, any QR code you put out should be like that as well. But anyway. I'm happy to talk about any of that stuff, but my real thing I'm wrestling with in my ministry right now is whether or not I should print a bulletin again. And so that's why I was like, that was my question I wanted to bring to the group. And so some quick context here. We used to have a ridiculous bulletin. Maybe some of you all still have one. COVID killed our bulletin. And right now, if you were to go on our website, or you can tap or scan the QR code in front of you, we have a MailChimp bulletin that is our bulletin. It's pretty well integrated into our website, to our Church Center app with Planning Center, etc. But we're really struggling. The older demographic seems to be the ones who care enough about actually still reading the email bulletin. No offense to y'all, but pretty much people your age, like families and stuff, like they're some of the most disconnected informational people because their lives are just so busy and things like that.
You look like people our age. So that's
yeah, well, that's fair. But, like the older demographic, like they will do anything to figure out how to find out who's on the prayer list or whatever like that. I don't find that middle generation cares about that as much. And so but recently we've had 3 different people place fellowship at Mount Juliet who legitimately do not have a smartphone, do not own a computer, it's like you could go down the line. I'm like, here's my people who legitimately need a printed bulletin, but it is so much easier on us, 1, not to print one, 2, to save all that money, and 3, the timing and formatting that goes into a print form medium is so much higher because you're dealing with spacing, etc. And so, I kind of just lay that at y'all's feet. It's what are your pros and cons that you've seen, and what would you say?
I told you never should have cut the courier pigeon line from the budget to begin with, and now you see the value. Thank you.
We recently redid ours, and ours is in Canva now, and so basically it's pretty easy to update. You just take the last one, put in the new information, and that's it. And at any given point, our secretary, me, and Kingsley might be in it tweaking stuff like that. So it's worked really well for us. If we don't print enough of them, we hear about it. We run out when we print 200 or 300 bulletins, and they all get taken up. And sometimes now we still end up with 40 or 50 maybe that are extra.
Are you doing a digital medium as well, or is it purely
Well,
print?
we email it out every, say, Friday or something like that. So people do have it digitally. And honestly, this is probably more than you want to know, but we have a few members that regularly attend, that are able to attend, and still want the bulletin mailed to them. Not emailed, mailed, snail mailed. Which
That's
is really
excessive. They need to get over
Yeah,
that.
we nixed that.
I think so.
Well, truly,
But I'm
postage
just
is
saying,
crazy.
Only with horse and cart also.
Yeah, they're Amish.
Or carry
Could you check on the rates for doing that in stone tablets instead?
We still burn CDs, so I don't even want to talk about it. But anyway,
What's that?
I know for us,
you got to stop the burn CDs. What is that for?
yeah, it's the sermons. It's
on the same page.
Well, yeah, fine.
We've got it.
But anyway,
Yo, if you're still burning CDs and you get rid of that printed bulletin, you're getting fired.
yeah, I know, right? So what I'm saying is there is going to be a demand. At least for us, there is a demand for a bulletin. And when we only print maybe 200, and it's not enough people run out, then we definitely hear about it. So that may not be the experience at Mount Juliet or whatever, or any other congregation, but I know for us, if the bulletin's missing, then, it was big enough when we redesigned it, because we went from like a regular old 8x11 sheet to just a folded 8x11 sheet, and that was pretty mind-blowing for some folks.
Still dramatic.
So it's still the
But,
exact same
but-
piece of paper.
Oh,
just
yeah.
folded.
Yeah.
Ours used to be an 11 by 17
Yeah,
size.
well,
It's
see-
like hard to explain to you how enormous
All
this
right,
thing is.
so just to explain, we would print that eight
Still
and a half by 11 sheet for the bulletin, and we would print a two-sided sermon notes thing in addition to that. So tons and tons of paper every week. And so what we have now is we have the folded bulletin, and on one side there's one of the bulletin outline or the sermon outlines. So we combine the two together.
Did your sermons get shorter?
Ask Kingsley, I don't
I got it
know.
out in 4 minutes.
We did that just before he started, so it kind of helped him out.
So
a
I
little bit.
think where we're starting to go is I will never be a proponent of handing out the bulletin again. We used to have just so much waste, and people would leave it in the pews. It was annoying to clean up afterwards, etc. And so I think we've kind of come to is, one, we need to make sure people know that like the bulletin is accessible, like whether it's the NFC tag or they do receive it via email and a push notification on the Church Center app. But I think the model we're actually going to switch to is really segmenting our bulletin and kind of allowing people to pick and choose the information they get. So, for example, we would do basically like an events this week sheet, a prayer sheet, and then like the other news sheet. And like it wouldn't be something handed out, but it's like something people would go to get. Because one of our biggest issues was also just the legitimate, ridiculous cost it was on 11 by 17s, front and back every week. And we were having to print like 900 of them. Like that just adds up in a really incredible way, and it's just quite wasteful. So I think we're exploring it. The biggest thing I've been wrestling with is actually almost feeling a sense of victory that we haven't printed it since COVID. And I want to make sure that it's not pride or even just like this progressive nature of technology that's the reason I don't want to provide a physical bulletin. So I've been struggling some with that. I also believe in general we're going to see a push in the next 10 years for more analog spaces, and I think in a healthy way, like with church. And I don't want to be resistant to any of that, but I want to make sure people are equipped. So I've really just been wrestling.
So if I were you, because you are going to have to print just crazy numbers of whatever you're going to do, I would suggest, just from a ministry perspective, having just the prayer list and maybe a website, QR, something at the bottom that says, if you want to see more, and then link it to your MailChimp thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But that way, your members who want to be praying, let's be honest, like we get the bulletin on Friday or Saturday or whatever. We open it up, we look at it, by Sunday we forgot what's in it.
Yeah.
So having something physical that they can stick in their Bible, that then when they're reading that week or whatever, they have the prayer list and they can be praying over, just from a ministry perspective, I think that's beneficial. We don't have we have 1/4 of the number of people, but we have our kids hand out the bulletins.
Yeah.
And like the teenagers, mostly teenage boys, and they just ask, do you want one? If the person says no, don't give it to them.
Yeah.
But that also gives those kids a chance to talk to people, right? So maybe there's a way that you can do it. If you're going to print them, do it in a way that isn't wasteful, but also maybe find your youth ministry or something like that, where now that the cost of printing the bulletins is actually going toward getting your kids in connection with other people that they haven't, that they probably wouldn't talk to. I mean.
We did end up doing kind of the hybrid. We did the 11:17 trifold or whatever. We also had sermon outline space in there. We had all of our prayer requests at size half font, like just 3 H's. Like it was itty bitty tiny. Like I couldn't read it with my glasses and a magnifying glass. It was a little ridiculous at times. Same thing because numbers, scales up or whatever. Everything scales up except for real estate.
Yeah.
And that was part of our thing was our prayer list is going to continue to grow. So we can't physically put it in the same space. It's not a practical, it doesn't achieve the goal. It's inadequate. And so that was the big one. COVID expedited a lot of that. We also realized, we could actually save a fair amount of money here. So what we do now is a sermon sheet. So on one half it has the lineup of who's doing what in worship. And then there's a half a sheet, which is really a quarter sheet, space for sermon notes and stuff. So it's not significant. But the other side is any updates to the prayer list. We don't put we don't put the perennials, right? We put the new updates this week, prayer list, any pertinent announcements within the next few weeks. So that's relevant, soon information, horizon information, so to speak, what's on the immediate horizon. And the other side is more worship-related content. And then we have gotten better from the announcements of pointing people to the family news, which is the weekly news. But we use a Google Doc, one that is, she archives them all in a Google Drive folder. So we have on our website, if you go to the login section, one area goes to, you can go to the archives and see whatever past editions you need to, and then the most relevant, the current one. So it updates on its own. Christy updates in one place, and it goes, everybody should regularly have access to what they need to if they need it. And that has generally been well received. The explanation of, hey, we got like 200 more people here than we did 2 years ago. Where are we going to put all those names? Like that makes me, that's true. Okay, I guess so. Yeah, and it's crazy expensive. Especially coming back from COVID was when we really felt that pinch of, the prices have gone way up. Just to replace the toner now is double the price. So that was a big part of it. Just trying to we laid out the financials of it. I don't remember the numbers now, but it just made so much more sense. We're going to take one sheet of paper, we're going to cut it in half, and 2 people are going to get the information they need. Whereas before we were taking an extra large sheet of paper, folded in thirds, and only one person got with that information. Yeah. So the numbers, I think, justified, and people still eventually found their way to the relevant information they needed. There's a little calibration, but the vast majority of our folks really appreciated that, and there was a delegation of folks that wanted something tangible. And as far as the information's gotten to me, at least, this is a piece that.
What percentage of your church do you think is still electing to pick up the physical copy of that?
I'd have to check. I don't know how many Julie prints, but most of them get taken up.
Yeah.
I don't feel like there are as many that are just sitting loose. There still are several, but
do you think half of your church picks one up, 80%?
I would think so, because our greeters stand at the door and they pass them out. And kind of to your point, it creates an interaction.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of value in that.
Even with a visitor, we visit Madison about once a year. You're walking up to the door, there's somebody standing there.
Oh, yeah.
It gives you a reason to start a conversation.
Yeah, and it's not a greeter, it's just somebody that says, here, do you want this, right? So it's not somebody, hey, where are you from? You're not getting that at the door.
They're supposed to do some more of that.
But it's not like a traditional greeter that's gonna try to meet with you and talk with you. It's somebody that, it's a short interaction, but a visitor is gonna have one more interaction with a human being when they show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they look puzzled or something, they're hopefully they'll go. But Andrew just does that. He's real fast, so it works. He walks a lot.
Can I ask a bulletin adjacent question? Weekly, daily emails?
Yeah.
We do weekly. We do
daily.
We do a.
You do daily? We do daily as well, and it drives me.
No. So
we just do weekly.
We do 2 a week. One is a beginning of the week prayer list, and then on
what
Friday,
are you sending daily?
We're sending the same thing over.
My
and over
handy
again,
dandy custom chat GPT also will turn your sermon into 5 daily devotionals. Every morning they get a devotional.
Our elders are they have shot it down every time I put it up. Monday through Friday we need to send an email. What?
Interesting.
Because if you look at our open, because you can
Do
look
they
at
not
the,
work?
you can look at the
And they
data.
don't have kids in school?
4% of people, 4%
Oh,
are opening
that's-
our emails.
All right,
I'm
maybe you need to take a while
Yeah.
off before you start.
We're sitting at
But
like
I
70.
agree with you, but our elders
Yeah.
are like, no, we need to send them every day. I was like, yeah, but the numbers, and they're like, no, we need to send them every day.
I use AI to take my sermon. I mean, if you have sermon shots, that's the same thing. But I use AI to take my sermons
But
and
Oh, these
make
ones-
them 5 daily
So you're
devotions.
talking about an
Change
actual
the
useful email.
environment.
I'm
Yes.
talking
Where you
about,
find that
this
No,
is
yeah.
just our
You have to
announcements.
No,
We don't do
in
any.
that case, that's dumb.
people are just choosing.
But
to-
yeah, we contact every member by email every day.
I
But
was
it
more
is
looking
an
for
announcement.
confirmation
Yeah.
than anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's dumb.
we scaled back some of that as well. I don't remember what we used to, but we do a, because it is important on the prayer side of things. We feel like that's the most important.
Need.
We do like an announcement information that goes out, the family news every Friday morning at
No,
whatever
we've-
o'clock, 8 o'clock.
we have
But the others, the prayer list,
consider
because of
just printing
surgeries and
a
stuff
few
that week,
for
will
those
go out.
individuals.
Begin, maybe Monday, Wednesday, but definitely
The amount
Monday.
So y'all are
of people
sending the
though,
same
who
thing
would
every day?
prefer.
I mean, with
It's much
additions,
higher.
we started having
So,
the color code
Our
stuff.
fear is that if
so
we
that
said,
people would
hey,
know
here's
what
the
was
10
new
we're
and
gonna
what
print
was
for,
not.
people are like,
I'm
how'd
not
you
cool
get
with
that?
that. I like what we
Yeah, it's like,
do.
who'd
I don't
you,
like
who'd
that.
you get
I don't like
We
it.
don't print a directory.
We don't like it.
Y'all
We
meet in the
haven't
middle.
years.
But basically, we
We
send
print one
every
for
morning
one
at 8
person.
a.m.
And
So
we
when I
do
finish my
on
sermon
some
the week before,
specific,
I use
specific
GPT to make
scenarios.
5 daily
But it's
devotionals
like,
for
well, I
my
don't
message.
want.
I schedule
So
those out.
that's
and
really
on
our
the
struggle.
email, it
We
just has the
basically had
devotional
written
with the
off the idea
scripture,
of doing it.
Yeah,
devotional
so
thought and prayer,
That's actually.
and
Truly.
then a link to our Spotify
Yeah,
playlist. And I grab just a random song. I put the Spotify on shuffle and hit next, and then copy the link and put that button in there. So they have a devotional,
Oh, it's
And a song.
so small.
There is.
and we're at like above 50% for most for
Each
our
day?
opens for the daily.
So
And if I miss one, like if we have a guest
it's in
speaker and I don't
MailChimp.
have his
Actually, he has it
outline,
right there. Our secretaries
I
put
hear
their
it
own
the next week.
archive
Why didn't you
printed
have
anyway.
devotionals?
And so
Well, and I
essentially,
don't think that,
we had. They
I
said
wonder if
they're
I need
like,
to
we
revisit
would be
this, like,
willing
once
just
a
to
year
print
with our
10
elders,
copies
like,
and
hey,
stick them at the
So
involvement
people
center.
we're sending
It-
so much.
that may be the step that we choose to take
people are
in just
ignoring
finding out
it.
who it is.
And it's,
Because I
it's
just,
counterproductive at this point.
it's just
Unless
hard
it's
to
gonna be
imagine.
useful.
Yeah, it's hard to send
plus
some
our
team,
church
don't you
secretary
dare print.
and it's not our church secretary.
Well-
She like agonizes over
Can you
sending
turn the
everything.
camera
I gotta
off?
send an email. I gotta send an email. And I'm like, but it's the same thing. Like, what's changing? Like, no. There are some weeks
That's
where
not
we will
helping.
go 3 and 4 days and
My
send the
other
exact same
question,
email.
which I'll relinquish my
unhealthy.
time,
And it's
but
unhealthy.
we're really
and
trying to
it's-
figure
and
out
it's-
what to do
It's,
with
it's
text
unhealthy
messages
for the
now.
staff.
I've got like some
I
ministries.
guess it's
like
like the members aren't gonna read it. They aren't reading it if
Which
you're
like
at
a
4%
couple of
open.
ministries do it, but like I can't like let
So
every
anyway, sorry,
ministry
that was
just
me more
text
seeking
randomly, you know,
validation
like
than-
constantly.
than
And
feedback because I
we're
wanted to
really
make
trying
sure
to figure out how to
it.
appropriately
Yeah.
define who can and can't.
Okay.
But
Slide on
the
into
daily
the-
devotionals, like those have done really, really well.
We
We only
integrate
send it
with
to our members, we don't
Clearstream
send
with
it to-
Planning Center,
Yeah,
which
that's
they
something
use
that
Clearstream as
if
well,
they insist on
but
sending them every day,
Can we
maybe
turn?
at
Can we
least
do
I
we
can
use
add
Pastor's
that,
Line
and that's a
for
little bit extra work
phone
for me.
call.
But if
It's
GPT's
an
gonna
awful
be doing it
system.
for me,
It's already started.
We use
And Andrew's
Pastor's.
got his-
Did a decision get
I've
made
got all
on it?
the-
Are y'all doing it?
Yeah.
Anyway, we
What do
do
you use
send
to
out
clip your
very
sermons?
few, I will say,
Screenshots.
automated
So
phone calls
it'll do
on
it.
sympathy.
It'll make your
notifications.
devotionals
Yeah,
for
yeah,
you.
give
We
it
integrate with
yeah.
Pastor's
Yeah.
Line, but they got
No, it's
bought
got
out
a
by
devotional
text
button.
in church, and so I really
Yeah.
wish we would just.
So
We're
it's
probably
already
already
doing
gonna
the
just jump over the
devotionals. You're
text
just
Are we
message.
recording all of our just like side?
Yeah,
banter?
but we'll.
We're starting to go a little off the rails.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
I'm not
with,
gonna-
I'm okay with going off rails.
I'm not gonna put it on.
This almost seems like more of a stress session, though. I'm just wanting. Chad, I asked because I want to be real, but I don't want to be on camera.
Well, I think we'll just
Oh, yeah.
not like Jason. Maybe like we won't post these probably. I'll just.
You're up.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
I don't.
Oh
don't
no,
feel
it's
like
your
these
turn
are-
though. We're going around the circle.
We're also what they do.
Where did you say it was?
It's in the hamburger icon at the top left, like on the homepage. It should have devotionals.
Sermon Sin. It says Sermon Shot, Sermon Sin, Sermon Live.
Well,
I was telling him we're wrestling with texting right now too, in regards
I already logged
to ministries, etc. Like,
Giving them access to text everybody.
yeah, like, I mean, I've got one guy whose ministry is small, and it's small because of him,
Mm-hmm.
but he believes the world will be opened up to the beauty of his ministry if he can text everybody every time they have an event. And it is so hard to get
Text the whole congregation.
Yeah, and it's so hard to get, like, I hate to use this phrase, but, like, I think, like, people in the business world like that, like, he works for Dell. And he's like, oh, like, texting's like our bread and butter for marketing and stuff. And I'm like, but, like, you're trying to reach an audience, like, to sell something, like, and you don't care if they turn you off at some point or they unsubscribe or whatever. The church audience, like, I
Because if they
can't
turn
harm
it off
that
for
relationship.
him, they're going to turn it off for the whole.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's where it's just like,
People don't
and he
understand
just
that when they
doesn't
unsubscribe
get,
that.
he doesn't
whole-
get that.
We've had people.
Why
opt out
can't I
something.
text every fill-in demographic every time I have something? That's why our ministry's failing. It's failing. He wouldn't say it exactly
Inadvertently,
this way,
because
but
of-
it's
yeah.
like because of you,
You're,
because you
you're
won't let me
contributing
do
to the failure of his ministry.
Yeah, and it is really wrestles with it because, and even then, like our youth ministry, good or bad, you decide texts a lot. Their ministry is very active.
The whole
You know,
church?
there's all just
Okay.
their
Yeah.
demographic or whatever. But like,
Do you text through Planning Center? Is that
we do, yeah. Well, through an
'Cause we're-
integration.
we're
but
still
yes.
trying to? We're working on our integration.
Yeah.
We still have some tendencies for segregation, but
Yeah.
we've got our own like financial database, which is its own thing. We've got Servant Keeper, which is its thing, and now we're using One Call more and more. So One Call has become our messaging system.
Oh,
And
bro.
we've got this Ministry Scheduler Pro, which does scheduling really well, but people want to be able to message their group, and MSP isn't super great for that. You can email, but when it comes to texting, we want to give deacons the ability to text their ministry's people. So not just like Sunday morning, we want to send that like that. That works fine for what it is, but not. I have zero desire, and I would probably I would be very aggressive against giving anyone arbitrarily the ability to text the whole. I was at Faulkner when you could text the whole campus. That's a horrific idea.
Yeah.
Like that's just terrible.
You could, as a student,
Absolutely. Yep. Went to faculty, everybody.
My
Yeah.
ideal
Somebody
scenario.
got hacked one time and
Kicked out
said
of school.
some things, but anyway.
My
yeah.
ideal scenario would be to have a system where I can limit you. For example, I've told our men and women's ministries, I will send out a text to every man or woman in the congregation, an email rather, once a year for you. Like, that's what you
Yeah.
get. Like, you can't do everything. But I can't, but it's all via me,
Right.
to do that.
Yeah.
With the texting, like, I can't restrict, these individuals how to do that. And, like, the men's ministry, I think